Today on Armored Tage Garage, we're going to be replacing the clutch master and slave cylinder on this 97 Jeep Wrangler TJ. For those of you that have watched the previous video, you'll know that I was having some problems with the clutch on this vehicle. Specifically, the clutch fluid was low and got air in the system, and the hydraulic system of the clutch had to be bled. This was a good temporary solution. However, today I'm actually going to replace the master and slave cylinder. I purchased this new master and slave cylinder from Rock Auto. It was about $60. Can't beat that price. Hopefully it's decent quality and lasts at least a little while. It's pre-filled, so no bleeding required. So installation should be fairly straightforward. First thing, obviously, is to jack up your vehicle and properly support it on axle stands. Next, you want to locate the clutch slave cylinder, which is located on the driver's side of the transmission, just going into the bell housing. Then you'll want to remove the two nuts which hold on the slave cylinder. A 13mm socket or a 1/2 inch socket will do the trick. Next, remove the slave cylinder from the bell housing. Next, you want to remove the clutch master cylinder pin from the actual clutch pedal mechanism, which is that thing with the yellow dot on it. That's where the connection is. Next, you want to disconnect the neutral safety switch. There's just a plug in here. And then you want to remove the two bolts that hold the master cylinder to the firewall. It's right in there. Two bolts, one and two up there. So this is what it looks like with those items that I just mentioned disconnected. As you can see, the neutral safety switch has been disconnected. The pin off the actual clutch pedal has been removed, and the two bolts that hold the master cylinder to the firewall have been removed. Next, the master cylinder should be able to be removed from the firewall. Next, I will feed the master cylinder and all the linkages down through the engine compartment. It might be easier to pull the slave up, actually. don't think that was the right way to do it, but for some reason it was easier to pull the slave up rather than feed the master down. Next I'm going to remove the neutral safety switch from the old master cylinder. First I squeeze these white tabs and then pull this white clip back. Next I'm going to push down on this switch and try and get it off the shaft. The new clutch master slave cylinder came with a new shaft for the master cylinder. So now I'm going to install the neutral safety switch on this new master shaft. So I have the new clutch master cylinder installed in the firewall, and just have it the nuts on the inside the cabin just finger tight for now. Just want to point out that the hydraulic system routes a little bit differently than the old one. So you can see this one actually comes up and looks like it's supposed to go over the brake booster and then down into the transmission, where the old one kind of went straight down through the engine bay there. So anyway, seems to be just fine. Just something I wanted to point out in case you do buy this unit. My plan is to install the master shaft and neutral safety switch after it's been installed into the firewall. So I'll do that from inside the cabin. My thinking was that it would be easier to do it inside the cabin rather than try and feed the switch and the shaft through the firewall hole. So everything routes perfectly. This new clutch hydraulic system, it seems to be a perfect fit. There's not an extra inch of tubing. It's a very, very tight fit, but it works perfect. Notice that there's a plastic retainer here on the slave piston. That's to keep the piston from extending at the moment. So you don't have to cut that off. If you cut that off, the piston will fully extend, and there's a chance that you could get some air in the system. Apparently that's remains on there until even during installation, and whenever the clutch pedal is pressed, that plastic retainer will break off inside the just in the outside of the bell housing. So anyway, let's see if we can get this thing in there and installed. So now it's time to get back in the cabin and reconnect everything. So everything's buttoned back up. The new master cylinder shaft was pushed into place. Just pushed it until I heard a little click. Then it was reconnected back onto the clutch pedal. Again, just a little plastic clip over a button. Then the neutral safety switch was reconnected to the harness, and the bolts holding the master to the firewall were just tightened up. Okay, let's see how it feels. Yeah, I felt the plastic clip break. Oh yeah, the clutch feels really nice. Let's make sure it starts. Jeep won't start. Okay, so apparently my neutral safety switch only activates whenever it's completely pressed all the way in, and so the new shaft doesn't have enough travel to actually activate my switch. But if I reach down there and activate the switch manually, the vehicle works just fine. So I'm down here activating the switch manually. It starts right up. But if I press the pedal all the way in, nothing. So here's the old master cylinder for demonstration purposes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put something here on the new cylinder, so that it pushes the neutral safety switch out a little bit, and that should give me enough travel to actually activate the switch. So at Harbor Freight a long time ago I bought a sealing washer assortment, and inside is this type of washer. I cut a little slit in it so that I can get around the shaft of the master cylinder without actually removing it again, because I'm lazy. But looking at the old one, looks like it's a pretty good fit, and that should give me hopefully should push the neutral safety switch out a little bit so that it has enough room to activate that switch. Okay, one washer didn't do it, but two washers did the trick. Watch this. Bam! Okay, let's try reverse. Oh yeah, beauty. Forward. Oh yeah, clutch feels so good. Starts engaging about halfway down like it should. Awesome. Okay. Hope this helps, everyone. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.